Hey, hello again. This is Colt from Spit and Tax Upholstery, and we have the tools that we need today to finish this. Now, if you recall, I was sewing the top together and showing you how to top stitch. Okay, line everything up. Now, if you'll notice under here, okay, we have 1.5 inch black corded binding. Okay, and then on top of that, we have a 1 inch finished bias tape. See how nice and neat that is? It comes around, and then we do a matching. I like to match my thread with everything, always. If you can match your thread to your top, always do it. Don't listen to anybody. Match it. And when you come back here, you see that green button? That ain't silver. That top hem ain't white. Match everything, and then it floats. Aesthetics are everything with boats. And in this margin here, which is 1 inch, a fat inch, see that perfect sew allowance? That's how you do it. And you do it that way every time, no matter what. No quarter. So you see that snap? You see how that goes through that binding? That's how you do tops. And then there's a tool that you give your customer. It's a half shoe, goes in there and just pops it up to where they don't got to pull their top. But with this, you don't have to do nothing. I mean, with the buttons, you can use the little tiny circles, the little, 1/8 of a millimeter plastics that you put in between the snap, the top of the snap and the pop on the bottom. With this, you don't even worry about it. This is rock star solid. So we went around the entire perimeter of this boat, if you look, okay? And we have that same application, okay? When you start this, you sew this black binding on first to the edge of the top. To the edge, not the inside edge. See this top stitch on the top where it locks it in at the top? Do that last. Butt it up from underneath and go all the way around this thing. Okay? And then after you're done with that, then come back and do the top, because you'll run into little ripples, but they'll level themselves out as you push and pull and tug and come back around the bottom side of the tarp. It'll reveal itself to you, but this is the perfect application. This is the only application. Okay? And then you put your either make your double-sided, bias tape and sew it just like this at 1/2 inch all the way around, top and bottom, perfect. Or you can, if you make your own, sometimes they're bigger, but this is industry standard. You want this. This is handsome. You want everything sleek, especially on a boat like this or any kind of boat. If you have a top, make it right, man. Make it beautiful. So that's just what went around. There's 2 identical sides, okay? You had this wedge on this side that covered up that window, and then a front piece that covers up the front. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Main body, 5 and 6. And you come around the back here, you can see where be mindful of what's on the boat. There's a gas tank. So you see how I did this little dog leg here, and I came around? So this just hugs the gas tank. Do it like this. And then a little arch for the handle when you step up in the boat out of the water. Okay? Centered to the ski drag. And it comes around here and floats on the inside. Your eye will tell you what to do. Like if you have where 2 pieces merge, okay? I did this on purpose to where this comes down and merges like this. See, I did a double fold on this, and all this is serged underneath of here, okay? With a 2-inch piece of that black binding in between this. So I didn't put a piece of double-sided bias tape on this because you don't need it. It is what it is. That's Rockstar. It's just a waste of material. You don't need it. So anyway, I locked it at the end. So you see, this is where this bungee goes that I told you about. That's what these are, these anchor points. So this is essentially what it is. See how it comes around the bottom there? It's a bungee. Okay, and then this cap, it'll hook into there. It'll look like that, and it'll pull this tight. However, what you want to do first is you want to secure this top to where it's square. And how you start is you go into the bow, okay? And where the window folds out, where you walk out the front of the boat, you're driving, you stand up and fold out your window to walk out to where the people sit in the front. It's called the bow. Well, when you close that window, go to the, measure that window. And they're all 23.5 or 23, but 23.5. So split the difference, okay? And that's your mark. And then your windshield clip there, that's where this seam that you've top stitched, you know, the middle of this tarp goes up and over, and that's where you put your first snap, okay? And don't compromise where they merge and where you have a top stitch. Just go to the side just enough, just to clear that top stitch, okay? Pivotal on the front. Find the center and then scoot your clip back on the other side of that sew allowance. Snap your hole and then cramp on your snap and then set your snap, okay? And then you come to the back, okay? And the last two snaps on the stern, that is where, and a helper's nice to where you can, okay, what does it look like, you know? And then and if you're alone, you know, get a painter's tape, do a big fat piece and come down to where it can hold. I mean, sometimes you have to do this alone, but if you have a helper, it's just golden. So anyway, top, and then you want that sag here because we have a telescopic, this is gonna tent up, remember? Remember that dish that I sewed there with those 2 half moons? 5-inch, but it was at 7, so I could slip them in there and they won't wiggle, and then you don't have to put a snap in the middle of your tarp. Don't put snaps in your tarp. They look horrible. That's rock star. Do it this way. Okay. So, the middle, boom. Jockey it just to the right of the stitch. Set your clip. Punch your hole. Set your snap. Secure your snap. Come to the back. Line it up with the ski pole. The toe in the back right here, okay? Boogie board, middle of the transom, right there, bam. We're perfect, okay? Then you can't go wrong. Then you split the difference. How I did this, I know I'm on point because I did this on purpose so I could miss the gas tank and I could miss the handle when you get out of the water. So anyway, so I set my 2 furthest snaps to the stern. These are the last 2 snaps. That one's a little closer. This one's a little wider because of this, but it comes down. This is the design. It's handsome. Okay, so before I set my bungees in the back, because those are the last ones. Now watch when I give this a little tug. You see how that rises up? You see that rise up? It's only going to be minimal, maybe 1 inch in the back here at the very most, but that's crucial. Okay, you need that, but do not do the back until you do the front side windows, because then it's in stone, okay? And how you do snaps around the front of a window, this arc, okay? How you do snaps is how you like tighten a tire on a car, okay? You got 5 lug nuts or you got 8, okay? If you got 8, put the tire on. Hand tighten down your first lug nut. Come down here and put another lug nut down here. Get your star wrench and suck that up, and then suck the bottom up to where it lays flat. This is the concept, okay? And then put on the rest of your bolts, okay? And once they're finger tight and snug, go back to the first one, give it a good wrench. Go to the bottom one, give it a good wrench. Go to this other one, give it a good wrench. And you zigzag across to get a perfect flat. Same concept. You start in the middle, you come to the back, bam, bam. And then you go there's 6 snaps, okay? On the front windshield, there's 6 snaps on the front of this windshield. The side of the windshield, there's 6 snaps. The side of that other windshield, there's 6 snaps, okay? So what you do is you split the difference. You go in the middle of those 6, 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 okay? I like to go the front first and go, boom, I'll put my first snap there, put my second snap here, and then bam, and then bam. And then I'll come to the back and do the back snap. And then I'll come to the back and do the back snap. Then I'll go to the front and do those 2 front. You know what I mean? Jockey around and be mindful and come back and look and see where you stand always. And your top will be perfect. Take your time and always remember, what am I doing? You're looking at it, it's a boat top. It's a boat top. It's a boat top made out of fabric. You can do this. Educate yourself. Everything has to be square. Where are your margins? What are your perimeters? Make sure that you have mirror images. Okay? There's 2 sides here. These both have to be identical. They did not make this boat 2 inches bigger on the front, on that side. No, they're exactly the same. So, just be mindful of these attributes that you face when you're doing upholstery, and marine upholstery especially. But it's always going to be mirror image in most aspects of upholstery. So be mindful of your patterns and do them correctly and do them once. And take your time. Don't go rushing through stuff. See how perfect this it has to be right. Once, and only once. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to cut you loose. We talked about the perimeter when I sewed on our. You see how I angled that? This was a 2-inch piece underneath of here. It's surged underneath. Okay. It's our double-sided bias tape is done perfectly. It goes to the bottom. Everything's neat and clean. The thread matches. This is 90 weight polyester thread. Okay, this is a Recacryl fabric, outstanding fabric. I look forward to working with the company in the future. And this is sold locally. As some friends of mine downtown. We're in Spokane. We got some really good people, Royal down there, downtown. Good folks, good talent, lots of talent. They have everything you need. So, anyway, this is how you do it. When you're putting on tops, and it has to be mirror image, always remember, front, back, side, front, back, front. Jockey around and be mindful of your eye. Let your eye won't lie to you. Go behind the boat. Once you get it set, once you get 1, 2, and 3 set, you can, I can do this myself after this. But, and I could have done it myself to begin with, but it's a nightmare. It's just way easier. But, so, you come back and all of this will flatten out. What you're seeing, these wrinkles, once I start, I'm going to go probably to this front side, and I'm going to lock that one in, and then I'll come over here and I'll bring this down and lock that one in, and then I'll go do the other side, and then I'll go into the middle, and we're going to do a transition in the very front right here. Okay, this is the bow. Once I have this where I want it, I'm going to make a little dog ear that comes up, and I'm going to put gypsy snaps in the front. They're a reverse snap, okay? So the snap will be on the top of this, and this male end will come from underneath, in between the finished snaps on the top. And it'll make sense in a minute, to where it all snaps in, and this transition here, there's a hole right there that has to go away. You can't have rain coming in. There's no reason for a hole. So that's how you merge 2 pieces of fabric, and they transition down smoothly. I'll show you how to do that. But this is basically, we've fitted our top, and I just have to go back and do my snaps. It'll all pull snug, but remember, like tightening a tire, here, up, back, and it lays down and it finds its measure. And the last thing you do on a boat top like this is your bungees in the back. Because what does that do? That, see this? That brings that rise up. But not too much, just enough, about an inch. So when you put your telescope in there, your tent pole, bam, it's tight as a drum. You can shoot a bullet off this thing. So, I'm Colt from Spit and Tex Upholstery. This is our 4 winds, 1997 4 winds, 18-footer that we're doing a top on. And please like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll come back and I'll show you how this ends. Okay? We got like 2 more videos. All right, I'll see you around like I'm doing it.